So, hello everyone. We're here together again on the Women of Color in Business podcast, where we tell you to come, get inspired, and get free. Today, we have another beautiful and amazing Black woman entrepreneur here with us today to share some wonderful details with you. We're going to let her begin with introducing herself and her business to us.
Hi everyone, my name is Yawa Mensah. I'm the owner and maker behind Yawa Co, which is a handmade soap and skincare company based in Kansas City. We specialize in creating natural handmade product, high quality product designed to enhance self-care experience and meeting gifting needs.
Wonderful, wonderful. So, how long have you been in business, Yawa?
I actually started back in May 2020, so almost five
Okay.
years now. So we will be
Wow.
celebrating five
Yeah.
years in May. Yeah.
Yeah, you're hitting that magic 5 year mark. Kudos to
Yeah.
you.
Thank you. Thank you.
And what was your background before you started your business?
So I have a degree in chemistry.
Okay.
Before I started the business, I was working in the clinical field. I used to work for like preclinical, clinical research organizations.
Okay.
We used to do testing on pharmaceuticals.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And what was it that made you want to be brave enough to step into the entrepreneur circle? Was it something you always wanted to do? Was it something that really activated it within you? Tell us a little bit about that.
So I've always had this entrepreneurship like calling, so to
Okay.
speak. Um, I just didn't know what exactly I wanted to do. So when so a little background back when I was working in the lab, I used to be a manager and I had a team of 25 people.
Okay.
And so I was managing that team. Things were going well until COVID hit. And my workload literally went tenfold.
Oh,
So
wow.
having to manage the team and going back home and taking care of my family, that was like a huge struggle for me.
Uh-huh.
So I kind of turned to my hobby, which was like the soap making thing back then. So
Uh-huh.
in a little time that I will find, I will get back to it just so I can escape, so to speak,
That
the
is.
stressful work life. And
Yes.
quickly, I realized that my house was getting filled out with product. Like there's so much you can give family and friends, right?
Right.
And I had to do something with the rest. So that's how I ended up starting a business in making handmade soaps and skincare product.
Oh, that's amazing. So you basically you started with it was really a well-being, a self-care
Yeah,
a project. You dove into a hobby you had to take care of your body energy, your mental wellness, your relieve that stress and invest in that creativity.
right.
And through the process, you found yourself doing it over and over and over. So it turned into a business.
Yes.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
So do you have any models of entrepreneurs in your family?
No, actually, so in my direct family, I'm actually the first one to
Okay.
venture into
Okay.
my grandmother used to have a business, but I didn't meet her. She died before.
Okay. Uh-huh.
And no, none of her children continue with the business. So
Okay.
for my immediate family, I'm the first one
Okay.
to venture down this road. Yeah.
Wonderful. That's amazing. So
Yeah.
being the first one, what would you say was one of your biggest challenges in getting started?
Personally, I'm a big introvert myself.
Uh-huh.
I was the idea was there, the products, I was confident in what I was making and things like that. But my biggest challenge was putting myself in front of people. And
Mm,
myself, including the product, because again, being a big introvert, I like to kind of keep to myself.
right.
So it was a big switch for me having to go from keeping to myself and now being in front of the camera, trying to appeal to other people to take a chance on your brand. So that was one of the biggest hurdle that I had to deal with.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. That's very common because we as entrepreneurs, we start off as solopreneurs wearing all the
Right.
hats. So, it's like our main core genius is, so your main core genius is putting the right non-toxic ingredients together to produce your natural products, but you have to be more than just the creator of the product. Now you have to be the marketer of the product. Now you
Exactly.
have to define what your target market is. Now you have to get a business plan together, whether it's on paper or through a template or just in your mind. Now
Right.
you have to network to meet new people, right? And to your
Right.
point, you
Yeah.
enjoyed the process of just making the soap, right?
Exactly, exactly. So I struggle. As a matter of fact, I still struggle, right? It doesn't come easy to me
Right. Uh-huh.
to do that, but I also know that I have to step out of my own way if I
Uh-huh.
want this brand to flourish. So I've been taking little steps to
Very
get
good.
myself out there, and hence why I'm even doing this podcast with you today.
It's a big step, huh?
Yeah, it's a big step. Yeah.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, that just shows your dedication to your brand and wanting your brand to grow. What would you say is the thing you love most about your brand? Like, do you have a favorite product? Um, Tell me something you love most about
I
your
do have a favorite product, but from going to events and meeting other people, I
brand.
always love the interaction, the reaction to the product once they get to try
Ah,
it. It's something that I cannot explain,
right.
it's like it's an experience. There's once they experience it, they
Uh-huh.
give it reaction that is totally different from like it's different when somebody's shopping online versus somebody shopping in person and they give you
Yeah.
like the direct feedback. And I just
Yeah.
love how people react
Okay.
to
It's like
the
the difference
product.
between watching someone on TV and a live performance, right?
Right,
You
right.
get to really feel the audience. So you get to feel your customer and
Yes,
how they really appreciate your product.
yes.
Oh, that's wonderful, wonderful. So what would you say, as you went along your entrepreneur journey, what resources can you think of that helped you the most? That someone who's just getting started today, I know we all as entrepreneurs, we are learning as we grow, right? So
Right,
we discover new things along the way, and sometimes we discover something in year two that we wish we knew in year one. So
right.
someone else who's in year one right now, what would you say is a resource that you found along your way that might help someone out just getting started today?
I think one of the big thing that helped me in my journey will be the community of other soap makers, right? Um, when you find the right community,
Mm-hmm.
they are willing to help and give you answers to some of the questions or the challenges that you come across along the way.
Okay.
For me, I didn't struggle so much with my formulas.
Okay.
It's just having that community and seeing how they presented themselves and the product kind of
Ah,
help me have an idea how to present my product also.
got it.
So um, just piggybacking on other people's mind and asking like, how can I do this better? Like I
Right.
remember in the beginning, I will make product and I will only post the final picture of
Okay.
it.
Uh-huh.
But then I started talking to other people and I saw how people were posting the process.
Mm.
So I learned from that and I started studying how like posting and different angle, what showing people the behind the scenes. That
Ah,
helped a lot. So it actually grabbed people's attention and not just putting the final product in front of people, but taking people through the journey of
right.
create something, it help also to build that audience and keeping the business going forward.
Got it.
There's also books and websites that have many different helping guide that can help people uh, get started on this journey as well.
Uh-huh. Got it. That's very good. I love that. Networking with a community
Yeah,
who's doing what you're doing to
yeah,
learn from them.
yeah,
Finding a community that's willing to share that information with you
exactly.
as opposed to hold it tight. They're willing
Yeah,
to help you grow.
yeah.
Wonderful.
And not necessarily somebody who, a community that will share formulas and things like that, but somebody who just willing to answer questions when you have one. It's like having a mentor, right?
Right.
You try on your own, and if you have a roadblock, somebody that can guide you past that roadblock.
Got it. Got it. So finding someone who have the answers, and then in the areas where that are not your core genius, like marketing, you are
Yes,
able to observe what others were doing and say, okay, if this is working for them, let me give this a try.
right, yeah.
Okay. So when you started your business in the very beginning, did you start with, sometimes there's a list of things that we're given as entrepreneurs, what we need to do to start our business, like get a business plan, get registered, um, test your target market, do research.
Right.
Um, did you do
So,
any of those conventional things in your journey, or how did your journey transpire?
so to be honest, when I started, I didn't have a business plan. I was
Okay.
bootlegging it, to be
Uh-huh.
honest.
Mhm.
I had a website, I had a social media page. I
Uh-huh.
was registered because that was something that was I wanted to take it seriously. And to me, having a registered business means serious business at that time.
Uh-huh.
I didn't have a business plan, but building a website, having a uniform social media pages, those things I did do. And
Okay.
um yeah, and that's when I started and I actually built my own website back then.
Uh-huh.
Um Started posting my product and things like that, but not the conventional, okay, having a fixed schedule that I'm gonna post on certain day
Mhm.
reach certain audience. I didn't even have my audience figure it out. I was just posting for the sake of posting.
Uh-huh.
And along the way,
I
I
love
learned
that.
that, okay, I
Uh-huh.
had to be really like focused on who I wanted to target.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So when you first started out, you were basically figuring it out as you went
Yeah,
along, right? You was
I
like,
was.
well, I know I need to post something, so let me put some posts out there. Then later on, you found out, okay, this is the best way to post, so let me
Yeah,
adjust it, right?
yeah.
But you did
Matter
start
of
out.
fact,
Go
oh,
ahead.
go ahead. No,
Uh,
I was gonna say when I started, I was actually still working at the time. So
okay.
I was managing the work schedule
Uh-huh.
and the business. So the little time that I had, I was more excited about posting the new product that I just made than
Right.
opposed to sitting down and figuring it out, okay, what days of the week or like what time of the day should I post to reach the maximum of people and things like that. No.
Got it. Got it. Okay, good stuff, good stuff. So, you started as a side hustle for you,
Yeah.
and it built, and so now it's full time.
Yes, I am
Okay,
working on this full time now.
okay, wonderful, wonderful. So, you so when you look at your business today, do you have who would you say are your target market? What is your target market for customers?
I would say for somebody who started this business, with a way of prioritizing self-care in my busy life, I feel like my products are for mothers who want to feel a little bit more of empowerment in
Mhm.
prioritizing their own self-care during stressful time. You
Uh-huh.
know, like somebody, we live in a time where like it's easy. We have holidays and birthdays and things happening all the time. With somebody with a busy life, you don't always have the time to think about something to grab. So for me, having those products ready to gift,
Uh-huh.
it's I reach out to those customers who are busy with their lives and who wants to give intentional moment of care to their friends or even to themselves, but
Right.
just don't have the means to do that, to get those products themselves or to make it themselves. So I kind
Right.
of want to bridge the gap between that. So that's where I'm kind of positioning myself. Um,
Okay.
my products are made to bring joy and nourishment to the customers. And
Mm-hmm.
just people that embrace self-care as a vital part of their life. Yeah.
Right, right. I love that. I'm really big on self-care and total wellness. So I love that your products are not only a an opportunity or a resource for someone who wants to give something that's handmade as a gift, something that can't be bought off the shelf, at any other store. Is
Right,
very specific, very handmade. Very different. So a thoughtful gift. They can come to your website to look at all your selections and pick that, but also for self-care for themselves, to help relieve their stress and help them start a self-care process.
right.
Wonderful. I love that. I love that. So in getting your business started and being you're heading into year 5, wow, how did you expand your product line? Was there a process you went through to say, because I visited your website and I saw you have oils, you have things for the beard, you have body butter, you have soaps, you have all these wonderful products. So, and I'm just assuming you started out with one thing and then you gradually expanded your line. So what
Yes.
was the process of that expansion? Was it intentional or did it just kind of happen?
So some of it just kind of happened and some of that was really intentional.
Okay.
Um, so I only started with soaps.
Okay.
And that's what I used to make all the time.
Hmm.
But then I started to put myself out there. I started going to craft fairs.
Ah,
And every time I would go to craft fair and people would buy soap, then they would ask, "Oh, do you have a matching lotion for this?
uh-huh.
Do you have a matching things for this?"
Hmm.
So, given the demand,
Yes.
I started adding more product to the line. So
Okay.
some product have like some scents, I would say, have a matching product throughout. And
Uh-huh.
then some of them are just new percents that I may want to introduce. But since I'm not sure how it will do well yet, so I will only introduce one small item of it
Okay.
and study how well that does before I move
Hmm.
forward into producing more products in the
Got
same
it.
sense or category and things like that.
Okay. So so the demand drove your expansion of your
Yeah,
different products, and then you test the market with new scents before
yeah,
so you don't just full blown do the body butter, the soap, the oil, everything to begin with. You say, let's see how many people really are feeling this scent, and then if it's popular, I will expand it. So you're doing your own market research right there.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Wonderful, wonderful. I love that. So in starting your business with no prior example within your family, what would you say was your biggest fear in getting started? Because I know a lot of times we have uh, business ideas, either even if someone starts like you did from just being active in their own creative way to relieve stress, or if they intentionally say, I want to start my own business doing this, sometimes fear would keep us from taking that next step. So, tell us a little bit about what was your greatest fear when you thought about getting started and how you overcame that.
To be honest, my biggest fear was nobody will want to buy from me because nobody
Mm,
knew me. Like I said, I'm a big introvert, and
uh-huh,
I keep to myself and my family a lot. So
uh-huh.
besides my coworker and the couple friends that I had at the time, nobody knew me. So my biggest fear was, okay, once you start making this thing and you want to sell it, who are the people who are gonna buy? You know? So for a while, I debated on not doing it, even going. The first time I went to a craft fair, I was so nervous just to talk to even strangers. But then I was like, I also I'm a firm believer in God.
Uh-huh.
Um, and in that time, I told myself, this idea of a business did not just come about, you know? I used to pray to God all the time to help me pass through my stressful time.
Uh-huh.
And all of this happening, for me, is a sign. So
Mm.
if God is giving me a sign to go full force on this,
Mm.
let me not hold myself back with my own fears.
Mm.
So that's how I made that decision to sign up for my first craft fair. And
Okay.
I went in, and surprisingly, I had a lot of great feedback
Okay.
on at that craft fair. And I've been every time I have a moment of self-doubt, I look back at that time and use it as a reminder that I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. So
Mm.
again, it goes back to getting out of my own
Way.
way,
Mm-hmm.
out of my own way
Mm-hmm.
to get started. Because I wasn't like I said, the formula part, I was very comfortable given my
Mm.
science background. I,
Right.
I didn't have any issue on that. I had some savings, so my own money went into it. So I didn't take a loan from anywhere. And
Okay.
that was something that would be held over my head. Well, like if I didn't sell, how am I
Right.
gonna survive? And I have a very supportive husband
Mm.
that uh he supported me in the beginning. So the financial aspect of that wasn't something that I was really worrying about.
Okay.
My biggest fear was more like, who are the people who are gonna buy?
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it. That's wonderful. You said a couple of great things there. You said you started with your own funds, so you didn't have a loan, so you didn't have that stress of, I got to make these sales so I can pay this loan. So that's like a big relief, getting started. Um, and to that point, I just have to say that when it comes to small businesses in America, businesses being started by Black women are the fastest growing sector of small businesses. Yet Black women-owned businesses are the least funded. So when we talk about getting funding, whether it's a loan or a grant or an investment, we have the least opportunities and support in that arena. So
Right.
being able to have your own funds saved to utilize to get things running was wonderful. Also having a supportive spouse to help you to support you through that journey of getting it going when you're starting out from zero to build it up. Um, so, what would you say has been the most impactful thing when it comes to expanding your customers or increasing your sales? Um, what would you say has been most responsible for the growth of your sales? So starting out with zero sales, you're selling to your friends, you got your family buying some. Then it's like, okay, like to your point, I got to expand beyond the people that know me personally. I got to get out there in the marketplace. So what was it that made your products grow in the marketplace?
I would say attending those craft fairs because I remember my first launch when I launched the website.
Uh-huh.
I will have like my first few orders were family and friends
Hmm.
uh, that wanted to support. But then after the support, nothing was coming in, and I still
Uh-huh.
had products sitting down, and I had to find a way to make those products move.
Uh-huh.
So, and then I started researching about events around the city, like craft fairs, or sometimes they have multiple women events here in the
Okay.
sometimes. So I started finding out about those and attending pop-ups.
Okay.
So those I think kind of fast forwarded my success in the sense where people started to get to know me, not
Uh-huh.
only as a person, but also as a brand.
Okay.
And they love the product and they kept coming back.
Okay. So the people you would meet on those events when you took your product out there to these different events, they would connect with you at the event,
Yeah.
use your product and then become a return customer.
Yes.
Okay. Wonderful, wonderful.
So in fact, my customers base, my most customers are local.
Okay.
It's now that it's going in other states and things like that. But
Got you.
the majority, I would say about 60% of my customers are local.
Okay. And so your local customers, do you get most of your sales still from your website or from
Yes.
being okay?
So up until August last year, I had a storefront
Okay.
that I had to close, unfortunately,
Mm-hmm.
but they still order from my website
Okay.
and I just ship it to them.
Okay. Wonderful. So you started out with the where along the journey did you have your store? Did you open your storefront?
So I opened my storefront back in October 2022.
Okay.
That's when I opened the storefront,
Okay.
and it went well for the most part. But then I opened it in a local mall here.
Okay. Mhm.
And in the beginning, it was going okay, but then the traffic slowly kind of like went down in the mall, and it
Okay.
just didn't make any more sense for me to keep the store open because I was spent. So the way it worked, I was at the mall almost every day,
Uh-huh.
and I was still the maker, I was still the manager of the store,
Mm.
still the
Mhm.
sales associate, everything I was still doing by myself.
Right.
So it was just too many hats
Mm-hmm.
where at the time, and something had to give. So I closed the shop to come back and just focus more on the e-commerce.
Uh-huh.
That I can still make the stuff, enjoy the process of making the stuff that I sell,
Right.
and also
Yeah.
spend time with my family.
Got it. Got it. I love that. So you did what I call a business pivot. You
Yeah,
started one way, but then you made a decision that, okay, there's a better way to do this. So let me pivot and do it this way. Not only that, but you also found a way to maintain your joy in the process, right? Because I say
right.
we deserve joy, health, and wealth as
Yes.
entrepreneurs. We shouldn't have to sacrifice one for the other. We shouldn't be, like this grind culture. It's not good for our well-being, right?
No.
So we
No.
have to put things in balance. So I love the way that you um, took a perspective and made a pivot that would increase your joy of
Yes.
just making the product, that joy, being the
Yeah.
creative, and also the joy of having time with your family, right?
Yes.
Because we deserve to be able to do those things too. It shouldn't be
Yeah.
just, I'm just gonna build the business all the time. So when you look at where your business is now, one of the things that we at the podcast are focused on this year is making sure that we bring information around building your business beyond replacing your income. So as solopreneurs, our first goal usually, even if we don't have a business plan, our first profit goal is to replace our income.
Right.
The next step is to earn beyond your expenses. So earn beyond your living expenses. So you have funds to utilize to want to reinvest in your business if you're looking at growth or to invest so that your money is making money for you.
Right.
So one thing is to grow beyond replacing your income. The next part is to build your business in a manner that you could sell it if you want to. Not that you might ever want to sell it, but as you are building it, have the thought process of if someone else looked at this business, they will find it valuable enough to purchase.
Right.
And in doing that, what you're designing is a system that gives you the freedom to your point, like instead of the storefront, let me just do the e-commerce. It gives you the freedom to step away if you need to, or just want to take a month-long vacation.
All
And
right.
you've put systems in place where it would still run without you.
Yeah.
So those two levels of expanding the way we think about our entrepreneur business, because a lot of times we fall into the rut of, because we have to wear all the hats to get it going, we never graduate from that process. We just
Yeah.
stay in doing everything. So, so when you look at your business, what do you think about that you have put in place or that you want to put in place to facilitate the process of expanding your profit to a place where it exceeds the expenses, and also having the type of business that you could step away from and take a vacation, much needed vacation with your family, and things still keep running?
I would say right now, my goal is to hire somebody to help
Mhm,
me
mhm.
because as it stands, I'm still doing everything by myself.
Uh-huh.
I have family members that will help from time to time when
Mhm.
needed.
Right,
And I'm at a point where I'm in need of somebody to help. And if not just for the making part, but as well as some marketing side of it.
got it, got it.
Because the marketing part is somewhere that I don't really enjoy, right?
Right,
I would rather focus on the creativity and the making part than having to handle that myself.
right.
So going into year 5 right now, the goal is to able to have that help
Okay.
because I feel like that would be a driving push
Mm,
to reach the revenue goal that I have for this year or
right.
the year beyond.
Uh-huh.
So I think that's where I am right now. As
Okay.
far as handling the business when I'm not around,
Hmm.
I have done my process in a way that the way I label stuff or the way I arrange stuff, even if I'm not around, I'm confident that I have, let's say, my spouse that's stepping in, and if he has to ship something to customers, he's not looking all over the place to find
Uh-huh.
items that are needed.
Right.
I can always reply to emails and messages on my own, but the biggest thing will be handling my marketing and my social media. Those that it tends to be hard because when you're on vacation, you don't want to be working, right? You don't want to be checking
Right.
the emails, you don't want to be checking social media,
Exactly.
those kind of things. So I think that's where I am right now.
Okay.
Not sure if I answer your question.
Yes, you did. That's you did exactly, because to your point, one of the things that I advise entrepreneurs to do is to think about exactly what you said. Think about what position in your business or what task in your business you like the least, that you would love to have a professional to come do for you. And that should be the first task that you outsource.
Yes,
So either hiring someone as a 1099 to do it, which is usually the most efficient way to do it, to hire someone with that skill, and just so you don't have a, or you don't need a full-time employee. You need someone to do that part of your business for you when it's needed, as it's needed. So
yes,
contract someone to do that. And that also helps you to determine what your budget would need to be for that person. You know, you get a couple of quotes, okay, to have this person handle all my marketing for a year is going to be this amount of money. So what sales do I need their service to help me produce to pay for their service, right?
exactly. That's what I
Exactly.
am right now,
Yes.
actually. Yeah.
Wonderful, wonderful. So yeah, that's a great way to do it. Look at what you want to outsource for someone else to do so you can keep enjoying your main thing. And then I love that you said you have things organized in such a way that someone could step in and they wouldn't have to search 10 different places for where are the labels and where are
Yeah.
the boxes and what do we put in here, but it's so organized they could just follow your system and keep things going, because that's very important, to put systems in place, because even if you are the only person doing it right now, you want to always have in mind, okay, if I'm not here, and I need someone else to step in. It's set up to facilitate that. It's just
Right.
set up so my business can keep going, if something happens. So I love that you have your mindset on both of those things. Okay. So when you think about your products are largely to help others with their self-care challenges. What do you do for your self-care when you are dealing with your business and you're tired and you're run down? Do you have a daily, weekly practice that you do, or is it just during vacation time, or what is your self-care process as an entrepreneur?
Uh, this year, actually, I started journaling.
Okay.
So that's something that I've put on myself to do on a daily basis now.
Oh. Mhm.
And just carve a little time in the day, whether it's early in the morning or late at night, so that I
Uh-huh.
can that like even if it's 30 minutes to 1 hour to myself to start journaling.
Uh-huh.
One thing that I used to do all the time is that I used to read a lot.
Okay. Uh-huh.
Um, I'm an avid reader and I like a lot of fiction books. So
Okay.
I will just find a way in my time and I will shut off everything and just curl up in my bed or in my couch and have a book and
Mhm.
want some tea, or sometimes I would binge watch something on TV, especially
Right.
when I don't want to do anything like physical. Uh,
Right.
Those things for me, yeah, that's
Wonderful.
how
I love
I would
that.
relax.
Yeah, I love that. Reading with a good book, cozy blanket in the bed, and some hot tea, or just some binge watching something so that your mind is not actively thinking about stuff, and you're not doing something. Your total body is relaxed. So,
Yeah.
and
I'm
journaling.
always naturally cold, so
Oh, me too.
being in that cozy setting is always like a huge plus for me.
Yes, yes. And then journaling. Journaling is such a healing practice. So it's great that you are setting time aside daily to do that. That's a big plus. So I love that. So when you look at your business, and you think about, let's say your business 3 years from now or 5 years from now, what do you see or what do you think about as your primary business goal? Like, which area? Is it a certain amount of growth in customers, growth in dollars, or change in products? When you think about the next 5 years, what do you consider when you think about your business?
Right now, I would say I would like to see a little bit of both growth in finances
Uh-huh.
and growth in customers.
Okay.
The amount of customers.
Okay.
Um, I think for the next 3 to 5 years, that would be a nice goal to have. Eventually, right now, I offer so many products.
Mm-hmm.
The goal is eventually to like hone in on the products that are really selling.
Okay.
The customers are really coming back for all the time and just focusing on that
Got
because
it.
if the cost of materials going up, you don't always want to spend so much money on product that will now bring you revenue, you
Got
know?
it. Got it.
Like I want to be able to get out of the complete test phase
Mm-hmm.
and just focusing on the product that will sells and do the
Okay.
launch, like repeat launches of the same products that will bring revenue.
Okay.
So um ideally I will perfect my customer acquisitions so
Okay.
that like I'm able to retain new customers
Uh-huh.
longer than I am right now and then increase their revenue obviously because nobody is in a business to lose money. So,
Right. Right.
like, you want to be able to find the perfect balance between giving your audience what they want and also being able to increase your revenue. So,
Right. Right. Be profitable. I like that. That's a very good point too. Um, take stock in put your data and your numbers to see what really sells,
Yeah,
what your hottest selling items are, and then focus in on those, as opposed to just having a lot of more items that sell slowly.
yeah,
That way you can pool your resources and have a more focus.
yeah.
It's a very good point. Very good point. So in growing your business and starting your business, so you had a chemist background, so you were able to create your recipes for your products more easily than the average person who just want to make soap but doesn't have a chemistry background. So what would you say is your superpower in your business? What is something you do that you just know is outstanding?
I think it's the way I pay attention to the details
Mm,
in every little thing that I do. I'm a very detail-oriented person, and I
uh,
tend to have the eye for things that the normal people, like regular people, won't see.
right.
And people who have um been around me for longer, they notice that about me, that
Mhm.
like there are things that I'm able to notice and change or react to real quick
Uh-huh.
that most people don't. So I think that's one of my superpower. And if
Okay.
something is not working, I'm able to like pivot and change and like find a solution and move on quickly than
Right.
just, um, I won't say wasting time, but just banging my head trying to figure it out.
Got it. Now that's a that's a priceless skill to have. Because a lot of us struggle with that. We struggle with letting something go and pivoting to something else versus pouring a lot of time and energy into trying to figure this one thing out,
Yeah,
knowing when enough is enough. Okay, I didn't figure it out. Let me just move on to something else.
yeah.
That's a great skill to have. Very good for an entrepreneur. Have you ever had those days though that even with all that, you're pivoting, but you just feel like, okay, today, why am I doing this? And what do you do when you have those days? What usually causes those days? Because a lot of times we as entrepreneurs feel like we're the only one who feel that way because when we see what we see of other business owners, social media is the presentation of course, positivity, right? That's
Yeah,
what the public sees. So we think if behind the scenes we're feeling like crap and we're feeling like this ain't gonna work out. I just need to quit. We don't think that other people go through the same thing and they just keep going somehow, right?
yeah.
So how do you confront that? How do you face that? And how do you keep going?
Um, when I have those moments, I like to allow myself to feel it
Mm,
before I move away from it. Because
mm,
I feel like if I just brush it off, then I'm not dealing with it, right? Like we
mm,
are all human. We go through the phases that there are days where you feel like you're on cloud nine, you're on
hmm.
top of your game, you're doing
Right.
everything. And then the next day, you see somebody doing something that maybe you've been trying to achieve and you haven't reached there. And then you feel like, oh my God, I've been trying on this for months now. It's not working.
Uh-huh.
You're able to do that. And then you let yourself down because of that. So I like to remind myself of how far I have come from where I started
Yes.
I am now.
Yeah.
So I don't just say, okay, let me forget about this or let me rush past it. I actually allow myself to feel it. I have one of my best friends, she's also an entrepreneur. So I kind of find myself having the conversation with her, talking about those feelings with her instead of just brushing it off down to the side.
Right.
So we'll talk about it and then I pray about it sometimes too. And then I just move on. And it's like when I say that I believe in God. It's something that I really rely on heavily. So on the days when I feel like I'm at my lowest and I'm
Uh-huh.
not able to talk myself or walk myself out of it, then I
Uh-huh.
rely on God and to see me through because
Mm,
again, He didn't lead me this far to let me down. So uh,
right.
it's His time, not my time. So whenever He feels like the time is right, I know it's gonna happen for me.
Mm-hmm.
I like to say that what belongs to me will always comes to me. So
Okay.
no matter what happened, no matter the situation, whether I feel behind or late in something, I know my turn is coming. So I'm a firm believer in that. So that's something that I like to repeat to myself all the time. And that helped me to go through the tough days and situations like that.
I love that. You said so many wonderful things right there. The first thing you said was you let yourself feel that feeling. So you don't rush past it. You don't um, brush it off. You don't make yourself feel guilty for feeling that way. You let the feeling happen because you realize you're human and you're going to feel different feelings. One day you're going to be up, the other day you might be down. So
Yeah.
you let that feeling happen. You talk to a friend, talk to a fellow entrepreneur who understands the process. Sometimes we talk to the wrong people. So you talk to
Right.
someone who understands the process and knows, okay, this is just one of those cycles, and they can hear you out and not judge you for
Yeah.
feeling that way. And then you support yourself by reminding yourself of how far you've come, right?
Yeah.
By allowing yourself, okay, so I allowed myself to feel this feeling that didn't feel good, but I'm also going to allow myself to feel the feeling of my accomplishments, of me being proud of myself, of, this feeling in this day, it does not represent my best, or my
Yeah.
highest. So I can remember that too. Very therapeutic, your process. And then if that's not bringing you out, then you remind yourself that what's mine is mine.
Yes.
So it will all work out. I'm gonna keep my faith strong and keep moving on. That's
Yes.
beautiful. I love that process.
But
I hope our audience are taking notes because that's a very healthy process. That's like the best way to deal with that
yeah.
kind of day. That's the
Yeah.
best way to deal with it. So I love that you were able to share that. Okay, Miss Self-Care Guru, I love it.
No, I'm,
I
I'm still
love
learning too.
that is good. That is good. Um, what is something that surprised you about your business journey? Something that you learned about yourself that surprised you, how you reacted or related or dealt with a different situation, or something unexpected in your business that surprised you?
One thing that really surprised me is the amount of love that I receive from my customers.
Um,
Like I said, I feel like I'm a nobody, right? Like nobody
uh-huh,
knows me. Like I'm just this shy girl. Like I mind my business, like
uh-huh,
the way I like to see it. And from the get-go, the moment I started going to events and the customers that I met, they embraced me and they
mhm,
embraced my product.
uh-huh.
And it wasn't something that I felt like I had to fight for. I had to
Got
put
it.
myself for, not like beg for. That's the word.
Hmm.
I didn't have to beg for it. So
Uh-huh.
it's just, it always amazes me. I can never get past it because it's just something that um every time I have those interactions, like even though like my cup, I feel really tired at the end of the day from meeting people.
Right.
Just it's just the reaction is something that
Uh-huh.
I can never like. It fills my heart. Let me say
Got
that.
you.
Yeah,
Got you.
yeah.
That's wonderful. So the energy that you receive from your public when you're sharing the gift of your creativity and your products,
Yeah.
is priceless to you.
Yeah. And the way they react to it is always a positive reaction to it,
Hmm.
you know?
Hmm.
And like there were times where I felt like giving up and they were the one pushing me and be like, we believe
Ah,
in you, you can do this,
ah.
So yeah.
Nice, nice. I love that. I love that. So the energy you get out, the energy you put into your products, you're seeing it come back to you with your customers.
Yes.
That's lovely, lovely. So as a Black woman in business and through your entrepreneur journey, what would you say are some things, one or more, that you wish had been available to you or is was currently available to you? And it could range from anything, but anything in the marketplace or during your journey that if you had access to it, it would make things more efficient for you. If you had knowledge about it, it would help you through your processes. I know a lot of times as we start our businesses, we go through the usual, some of us go through the usual business workshop that are given by different government organizations, and we're trying to learn about business that way. And we get to a point where we realize that those numbered steps don't actually work for what we're trying to do, right? The results are not the same for us.
Yeah.
So, what would you say is something that you've experienced or something that you've desired that you haven't really received out there in the marketplace?
Hmm. That's a tough one. You know, one thing that I wish that I've had from the get-go
Mhm.
was help with marketing. Obviously, I made a lot of mistakes along the way in
Uh-huh.
terms of marketing. It's now that I'm learning
Okay.
and fixing the things that I've done wrong in the past.
Got
So
it.
I wish that when I was starting, I had that support, that market, that the support on that end
Got
that
it.
that will have pushed me in doing things differently.
Uh-huh.
You know,
Got
now now I'm at the point where I'm unlearning the bad stuff that I was
it.
doing
I
in
love
the
that.
hope to try to do the right things now.
Uh-huh.
So I feel like if I had that from the get-go and given the things that I know now, my brand will have been like much further ahead.
Got it. Got it.
Yeah.
So if you had the right marketing tools and marketing education and
Knowledge.
information,
Yeah.
yeah, when you first started out and you had started utilizing that from day one, where you would be today would be totally different.
Yes.
Right. And that's the challenge of being a solopreneur, because you are the person going out to get the information, doing all the research, learning the things, and you can only learn so much.
So much,
Right?
exactly. And there's so many hours in a day too. So
Exactly.
like when you have family, the work, the
Right.
research and all that to do, a
Exactly.
lot of things tend to fall out of the cracks. So
Exactly. Exactly. So there, yeah. So, but even with that, with our imperfection in our processes, the I think one of the key strengths that we have to maintain, and I think you have illustrated this, is just to be able to keep going, and to have faith that it's going to be figured out. You know, I
yes.
don't know it today, but it's going to work out. It's going to be
Yeah.
figured out. Right. So kudos, kudos, kudos. So it's
Thank you.
been so beautiful speaking with you today. And as we close out, we always have a couple of fun questions that we ask our guests. So I'm going to start with asking you the first one, and it's going to be what is your favorite or dream place to travel to?
I like clear, beautiful waters and beaches. So anywhere tropical. It,
Okay.
my cup of tea. Um,
Okay.
like I tend to every time I want to travel, I will search for those places first, before I do anything else. So
Okay.
I like the tropics,
Got it.
like the Caribbeans, the beautiful beaches and things like
Got
that.
it.
Yeah.
Wonderful, wonderful. If you can have a conversation with anyone from the past, who
Mhm.
would you choose to have that conversation with and why?
Oh wow. I would say my grandmother, just because I didn't know her, my mom's mom.
Uh-huh.
She passed away before I was born, and I've heard so many wonderful things about her, and
Uh-huh.
I wish I had the time to get to know her. So I would love to meet her and to talk to her and see how it was with my mom, raising my mom and things
Uh-huh.
like that. Yeah.
Wonderful. That's beautiful. Okay. Who was your favorite teacher and why?
Um, Actually, I would say my favorite teacher, I met him in college.
Mm-hmm.
He was one of my physics teacher
Okay.
in, uh, in
And why
college.
was he your
So
favorite teacher?
the reason why is because I'm an immigrant. I
Mm-hmm.
came to the US when I was 18. So
Okay.
back in when I was in high school and I would take physics class and things like that,
Uh-huh.
my teacher back then when I was in high school, he used to say that everybody is not born to understand physics. That's what
Mm.
way of not teaching us and explaining well.
Right.
I met this professor that I'm talking about in college, and he changed my perspective
Okay.
on this. And physics became one of my favorite subject in
Uh-huh.
college.
Uh-huh.
And he was so down to earth the way he explained things. Like till today, I still remember his class and his teaching. So like he kind of it marked me. So
Right.
yeah.
That's amazing. That's wonderful. Great teacher. I love hearing that. What would you say is your favorite meal or your favorite food?
I'm a picky eater, a very big picky eater, but I would say one of my favorite food to eat is jerk chicken.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, jerk chicken
One.
with some plantains.
Okay, I love plantains. Okay, and the very last one, what was your favorite childhood game?
Ooh, oh my God. So I used to love to jump ropes all the time.
Uh-huh.
I have four sisters,
Uh-huh.
so to double dutch and like jumping ropes, that
Yes.
yeah, a jam back then.
Yes, I love that too.
Yeah.
Wonderful. All right. Well, thank you so much again for being with us today and sharing the candid details of your journey. You were inspiring. You dropped a lot of gems. I love your self-care process. So, share with the audience how they can get in contact with you and learn more about your products and purchase your products.
Oh, so my product can be found on YAWAandCo.com, or they can also reach me through my social media platforms. It's the same name all over TikTok, YouTube,
Okay.
Facebook, or Instagram. It's Yawa and Co.
Okay.
Yeah, the handles. And thank
Okay.
you for having me today. It was fun talking with you, Lynette.
Yes, it was a pleasure. Thank you.